Welcome back, Truth Seeker. It is a Friday, March 21st, 2025. You missed the video I put out earlier today about the power outage that shut down flights at Heathrow. That video is up on the videos tab. Again, a lot of people have not noticed the changes YouTube's made in recent years where videos are now sorted by videos, shorts, and live. And a video is a video that's just uploaded. A live is obviously a live stream. You got to look through those categories to catch the videos. I've been trying to figure out some way to get views back up on this channel. It's been really bad this month. It's been really bad for years, but this month's taken it to a new level of really bad. My views are a third of what they typically are in a month, as we're 2/3 of the way through the month. A third of the average. That's what I'm getting back from the analytics. And I don't know what to say about that other than just a whole new level of censorship. If you don't have time to watch these videos, if you could still just make a point to help it out by just clicking on it real quick, giving it a thumbs up, and actually watch the video when you have time, that would be great. But yeah, this information does not deserve to be dying out at the level it is this month, and I'm concerned what it could look like by next month. Again, I've never wanted to leave the YouTube despite the mass censorship and deletions because that's what they want. They want content creators like yours truly to just leave. And I don't want them to win their game, but it is getting to the point where I might need to work harder at putting out my content on other platforms. I never had any success on Rumble. BitChute was good for me until about 5 years ago. BitChute, maybe it wasn't quite 5 years ago, 4 years ago, something like that. All of a sudden, I couldn't get any views on BitChute anymore. But yeah, the views are bad. So it's not a good thing. This information needs to be getting out. With that said, let's talk about Elon Musk versus his daughter and formerly his son, Xavier. Xavier's interesting because it's the name of the second leader of the Jesuits who has an April 7th birthday, that 4-7 thing. Of course, this year, March Madness is going to conclude on April 7th. And if you follow the March Madness tournament, Xavier was the last team to sneak into the tournament, scoring 86 points for the 86th tournament. We're going to talk about how it doesn't seem accidental this day that former son, or as they would say, the dead name Xavier, has this interview on the same day that the father pins the attacks on Tesla vehicles on the LGBQT community. And I imagine this is scary for people who own Teslas. I have a nephew he's a really nice kid. He's very smart, super intelligent, a little bit effeminate. You know, it's unclear what his sexuality is, but he's never had a girlfriend. I've always suspected he might have been born, born a little bit LGBQT, if you will. But at the same time, very nice and very intelligent kid. He bought a Tesla about a year back, and I thought, God, Tesla, man, does he not know what I'm educating about? And of course, he doesn't know what I'm educating about because his mom's told him to never pay attention to what I'm doing. Don't listen to your crazy uncle. But anyway, he lives in the Seattle Capitol Hill neighborhood, and that's like ground zero right now for where Teslas are being burned up. And I'm just thinking, had his mother, my sister, allowed him to understand what we're teaching about over here, he probably never would have purchased that Tesla in the first place because we don't support little Jesuit scumbag puppets, which was abundantly clear a long, long time ago. I've been educating about what a little scumbag Elon Musk is for a long time, and that's a reason not to drive the vehicle that is associated with him. Of course, he's a puppet, and I don't think he really runs Tesla at all, just like I don't think he runs SpaceX or is doing anything in the government. He's a puppet on the world stage. But that said, let's still look at the ritualism because this puppet is being used to create chaos. Again, the motto is united we stand, divided we fall. This media and the people who control these puppets, they are constantly working in overdrive to keep the American people divided and fighting, and especially fighting over nonsense. And again, we know who controls the puppet strings. It is the Jesuits. It's undeniable. Not to mention one of the leading Jesuit universities in the nation is right in the Capitol Hill neighborhood where the Teslas are getting burned up right now. But let's see how perfect this ritual is. So this happened yesterday, Thursday. The daughter, formerly the son, and it's important that it's formerly the son. We're going to get to this. We'll say daughter, not to offend people. The daughter, Vivian, is that how they pronounce it? Vivian, however they pronounce the name. Vivian Jenna Wilson. Anyhow, this daughter, the new name has a gematria value of 93, right? This ritual came Thursday, 93 days after the Pope's birthday. And with regards to 93, remember they say the sun is 93 million miles away on average. We're going to get to how this all fits together. This ritual came on the 266th day of Elon Musk's age, synced with the 266th Pope, the first Jesuit, Pope Francis, who once spoke in Washington, D.C. on September 23rd, 2015, the 266th day of the year. And again, Pope Francis is the 266th Pope, the first Jesuit. The Jesuit order's logo is the sun, again, 93 million miles away on average, with the letters IHS, which stands for Isus Hominum Salvator, which has a gematria value of 266. Again, let's talk about the base ciphers of Isus Hominum Salvator real quick, because there is even more to this. Again, there's 4 base ciphers of the English language. Isus Hominum Salvator, the Jesuit motto, with the most simple cipher, the alphabetic order forwards, equates to 274. And that's noteworthy because the Catholic Church began celebrating the sun's birthday as Sol Invictus on 12/25 in the year 274 AD. This ritual came 85 days after Sol Invictus, or Christmas, December 25th. That's the day leaving 6 days left in the year. This happened on the 79th day of the year. 6 plus 79 is 85. Isus Hominum Salvator equates to 85 when you take the alphabetic order with numerology applied. So you're still using the alphabetic order. You're just applying numerology to each letter. And notice that the name, oh snap. The name Vivian is 85. When you run it in reverse, Isus Hominum Salvator is 266. Again, 266 day of Musk's age. When you run it in reverse with numerology, it's 122, like Isus Hominum Salvator. Like Pope Francis, the name of the first Jesuit Pope. Okay, so we have this significance with the sun and the Jesuit order's logo and how it's literally synced with Sol Invictus, where the motto largely traces back to. So, in light of the 93 thing, remember they say the crucifixion of Jesus is on April 3rd. Science discovered that supposedly in 2012, if you go back and look. But the 93rd day of the year, crucifix is 93, God's Son is 93, Nazareth is 93. The Christian section of Protestant Bibles begins with the 930th chapter, 930. And that is noteworthy because there's something called Sumerian gematria, where you multiply the alphabetic order times 6, and Christianity is 930. Again, the 930th chapter of the Bible is where the Christian section begins. You see how Christianity is also 79? So is Society of Jesus. So is Knights Templar, the Templar cross in the middle of the Jesuit order's logo. Notice how Xavier is also 79. This ritual happened on the 79th day of the year. The true name of Jesus, Yeshua, is 79. But as we know, in English, they've changed the name to Jesus and Jesus Christ. Notice where Vivian Wilson fits in with Jesus and Jesus Christ. Again, formerly the sun, right? This tribute to the sun. Vivian Wilson has the gematria of 61 and 74, also 155 like Christianity. But notice, Jesus is 61 and 74. Cross is 61 and 74. Christian is 61. Church is 61. Christmas is 61. Remember, 61 special because in sacred geometry, there's 61 overlapping circles that make up the flower of life, which is the symbol that represents God. There's something known as Jewish gematria. Derek renamed it Latin. God equates to 61 in that cipher. So again, the name of the renamed son, 61 and 74. And again, the former name Xavier. This ritual happens on the 79th day of the year. While again, Elon Musk is part of this Donald Trump number 47 administration, when Francis Xavier, the second superior general of the Jesuits, his birthday is April 7th. And again, they did just do this major ritual with the Jesuit school, Xavier being the last team to enter this tournament that ends on 4-7, winning with 86 points to enter the 86 tournament when Jesuits is 86. So, again, the sun 93 million miles away, 93 days after the Pope's birthday on the 266th day of Musk's age, this happens. And notice that the child did the interview with Teen Vogue 129 days after the Jesuit leader's birthday, Teen Vogue 129. Again, 79th day of the year, a date that can be written 320, Roman Catholic Church 320. That's who the Jesuits serve. That's who the Pope represents. Again, the Catholic Church that began by venerating the sun started as a sun-worshiping religion. And about 320, again, just the process of Jesus' birthday being celebrated on Christmas Day began in 320 AD. And I know something new about the Council of Nicaea, which is essentially where, there was this plan to bring pagans into Christianity by also recognizing Jesus Christ as the Son of God. But apparently Constantine convened the first Council of Nicaea on June 13th in the year AD 325. I believe that's on the transition or the translation from the Julian calendar to the Gregorian calendar. And the reason that's interesting is that's the day leaving 201 days left in the year, the number that's so special to the Jesuits. Again, where Xavier was the second leader of the Jesuits. Again, Vivian Jenna Wilson was born Xavier Alexander Musk on April 15th, 2004. And again, if you missed my work on the salute, that was on the 207th day of Musk's age. Wernher von Braun equals 207. Again, Wernher von Braun, the SS scientist, instrumental in the moon landing on the 201st day of the year. Again, this ritual was on January 20th, which can be written 20/1 like 201, which is also the 201st day of the U.S.'s age each year. Again, the Jesuit order is 201, like Order of Illuminati, like Neil Alden Armstrong, the first man to walk on the moon on the 201st day. Anyway, the 201 thing is always large and in charge. And again, we covered that on January 20th, and then they broke the news weeks later that literally the same day Wernher von Braun's wife died. And remember, Wernher von Braun had died 47 years earlier, and he wrote the book Project Mars, where the lead character is the Elon, and Mars has a 47-year orbital cycle. Again, the day of the inauguration of Trump, number 47 with his administration. But yeah, in light of the day of Elon Musk's transgender daughter having this interview where she talks bad about her dad and how much she doesn't like him, again, that same day he comes out and pins the attack on Teslas on trans LGBQT community. Look at this. If you look at the headlines, this started on Pi Day, March 14th. The New York Post ran this story. Trans Tesla vandal who allegedly threw Molotov cocktails at cars lives with mom and calls herself baby. So this is a Pi Day story, right? And March 14th is the 73rd day of the year, which means that this thing started. You got to love that there's a Prius behind them too. Anyway, that means that this story started 53 days after they took office. And what have we educated about for even longer than we've educated about Elon Musk, the Jesuit puppet? Just transgender in 53. Musk said the attack in the Capitol Hill neighborhood on March 13th, that would have been 52 days after they took office, or the 53rd day of being in office. But again, Capitol Hill is very trans LGBQT. If you've never been to Seattle, Again, that was the 53rd day of the administration, and then the story broke the next day, which was 53 days after. But again, since forever, we've educated about transgender and 53 rituals. It goes back to Bruce Jenner posing on the cover of Vanity Fair. And let me even just pull this up for a minute. This is how Family Guy foretold what would happen to Bruce Jenner long in advance. Let me see if this is the post. This post is from 2015, June 1st, 2015. The Family Guy episode that aired on May 3rd, 5/3, foretold that Bruce Jenner would become a woman. And let me see. First transgender person, May 3rd, May 30th. I can't think of their name right now. Christine Jorgensen. So look at this. This goes down in history as the first transgender person, right? Born May 30th, 530, dead May 3rd, 5/3. So that Family Guy episode debuted on the 20th anniversary of Christine Jorgensen's death, of foretelling that this would happen with Caitlyn Jenner or Bruce Jenner. And just to make a point, Caitlyn Jenner, right? 201. Okay, 201. The thing that's become popular in universities, gender studies, 201. Again, if you're new here, the Jesuit order, 201. They put this number on all of their rituals. This number's been with them for their whole history. Ignatius of Loyola, the founder of the Jesuits, 201. The first Jesuit pope, Pope Francis, the first to live in Suite 201 at the Vatican. His birth name, Jorge Mario Bergoglio, 201, and on and on and on. There's so many 201 rituals with the Jesuits. A lot of this stuff goes back to 1968 as well, when these agendas were put into motion. And again, that's the year the Yale professor published the book, The Population Bomb, which is 201 pages, about the need to figure out ways to reduce the population. Think about where LGBQT fits in with population control. You know, think about where two towers becoming zero before they became one, about 9/11 and the wars that came out of that and the millions of people that died from it. Think about where that fits in with population control. Think about Event 201, the pandemic simulation right before the whole thing popped off, Event 201, and how many people ended up dying from COVID, and a lot of them just from following the medical advice. Event 201, population control. I mean, just think about it. On and on and on. Bill Gates in his 2010 TED Talk, 2010, talking about how we need to reduce population. His father was into eugenics, one of the main brains behind the spread of Planned Parenthood. And let's not forget also that William Henry Gates, both of their names, because Bill Gates is Bill Gates Jr., but both of their names is 201. And of course, Bill Gates Jr., who was the co-sponsor of Event 201, married to Melinda Gates at the time, from a family of Jesuit priests, even having the same birthday as the Jesuit order, August 15th. But again, just so many times talking about all the same stuff over and over and over again. And by the way, this being 129 days after the Superior General's birthday and Teen Vogue being 129, remember 129 is 201 in base 8 counting. And again, the Pope's name, his birth name is 201. The apartment he lives in, Domus Sancte Marte, is 201. Plus it's Suite 201. Catholic Pope 201. Jonathan Pryce, that's the actor who plays Pope Francis in the film The Two Popes. And just so you can see with your own eyes, Jonathan Pryce, the name of the actor who literally portrays the Pope, 201. Again, if you're new here, I've gone over all these things a million times. This thing being synced up with the sun, heliocentrism, 201. And the heliocentric model was agreed to in the 16th century, the same century the Jesuits were created, the English language was standardized with the 26-letter alphabet, and the Gregorian calendar was implemented by the Jesuit priest. Again, just how all this comes together. Triclavianism. Again, in the Jesuit order's logo, the 3 nails represent triclavianism. Not the easiest word to spell, triclavianism. 201. And it's also 93. You might have noticed as I wrote up several of these things, you saw a lot of the same numbers, 150, 201. They're related. Again, heliocentrism has the 150 in it. They say the sun is 150 million kilometers away on average. The sun is what illuminates the world. Illuminati is 150. Order of Illuminati, again, the real title, which was founded by the Jesuit Adam Weishaupt, is 201 and 93. Again, he died in history 201 days after the anniversary of its establishment. The 150, 201 get paired together a lot. It's like when Alec Baldwin smoked the Ukrainian woman on the set of Rust in the church shootout scene. That was 201 days after his birthday at 1:50 p.m. local time. And then the 93 matters because in 93, on the 93rd day of the year, which was his birthday, Brandon Lee was buried, who was killed on the set of The Crow, in something that was a lot like how his father dies in the film Game of Death. And the plot of that, if you've never seen it, where he gets shot on the set of a Hollywood movie, and then he actually fakes his death, Bruce Lee. But if you didn't know, Bruce Lee really died while filming that movie, and he died on the 201st day of the year. And if you don't know this, Bruce and Brandon Lee are buried right next to Seattle University, the Jesuit University in Seattle. So anyway, there's so many things that bring all these numbers together. And here's one more, right? A lot of the headlines about what the daughter said about her father, that a lot of the emphasized headline is pathetic man-child, which is 74 and 146, just like Jesus Christ. Again, just to remind you how Society of Jesus all of this is. And by the way, don't forget that Elon Musk, who supposedly runs Twitter, which is now X, he offered $54 per share. I wrote Jesus order. I meant to write Jesuit order. He offered $54 per share on April 14th, the anniversary of Lincoln being shot, who blamed the Civil War on the Jesuits. But again, Jesuit order 144, like 14/4, $54 per share. Musk is going to turn 54 this year on June 28th, a day associated with the Nazis. Censorship is 54 and 144. Like I've been pointing out ever since he took over the platform, there's been way more censorship. I got deleted on January 27th of this year. I never had to deal really with any censorship ever on X until he took over the platform. And I dealt with a lot of posts getting censored, and I need to take this down. You're not allowed to say the synagogue of Satan, all this stuff. And then deleted 1 week after the salute for calling it out. And remember, he supposedly bought the platform in the name of free speech. You can't get more Orwellian. But yeah, just a reminder, this guy is going to turn 54 this year. So, but yeah, I mean, I can't go over how many times for how many years I've been talking about all of these things. You know, this post right here is not even the first post that we were documenting about just transgender in the news in 53, but it is an old one. This post is going to turn 10 years old in a few months. And in that 10 years, there's probably several hundred examples of the news media encoding 53 in a transgender ritual. And again, I've lost a lot of videos for saying that, which is just stupid too, because I'm not saying anything that's hateful. I'm saying that this is what they're doing. They're creating these divisions. They're creating these agendas for young people to fall into, and that is what they are. Young people are easily persuaded by media and celebrity and entertainment, and they've made it so cool to be LGBQT. And if that's what someone wants to do, that's fine, but people need to realize they're being persuaded into it for the sake of a population control agenda. And most people don't realize that at all, you know. But yeah, here we are, 53 days after the administration takes office, the trans Tesla vandal, the next thing you know, Musk transgender daughter on the same day that he's blaming the attacks on LGBTQT. But yeah, at the same time, it is also, oh, and by the way, look at the name of the trans person, right? You got to love that they're in purple, right? You got to love that they're in purple. It goes with the whole chump thing, but Lucy Grace Nelson is the trans name. Lucy Grace Nelson, 78, like Tesla. And it's another thing. It's like, how many more times can we educate about Elon Musk, Tesla, 78, and now syncing up with Trump while he's 78 years old? Again, to go over this, 57 days after this administration took office, you had the attack at the collision center for Teslas in Vegas. And again, how did the year begin? It began with a Tesla exploding at Trump Tower in Vegas on the same day as the attack in Trumpet Town, New Orleans, on New Year's Day. And that night, New Year's Day concluded with the attack in Queens, New York, Trump's hometown. But anyway, 57 days after they take office, major attack on the collision center, Tesla 57 Fords, run at Interverse 78. A lot of the media didn't pick up this story until the next day, which was the 78th day of the year. It was front and center all day on the 78th day of the year, the attack on the Tesla Center. And again, just to remind you about this great ritual on the 78th death anniversary of Nikola Tesla, it was the first time in history that Elon Musk had become the world's richest person. He was reportedly worth $191 billion and had surpassed Jeff Bezos, who was worth $187 billion at the time. Billionaire just happens to equal 191. Society of Jesus, 191 and 187. Bezos was 56 at the time, and that was in the time of cooties, where they said 56 new billionaires were created in the U.S. in the time of cooties. It was 172 days from Musk's birthday, the Jesuit motto in Merum de Gloriam. You know, you got this Catholic Church encoding, you know, to the Jesuits served. But yes, it was on the 78th death anniversary of Nikola Tesla, who wanted everybody to have free energy, whereas Elon Musk, you know, he wants to make money off electric cars. It's kind of like a reversal of the idea. Not to mention also that Tesla was born in 56. They did say Bill Gates was worth $132 billion at the time. Catholic Church 132, Roman Catholic 132, United States of America 132. Don't ever forget that the U.S. was named on September 9th, 1776, 132 days from the establishment of the Illuminati. And it goes with the 132 rooms in the White House, and the White House was designed by a Catholic. And it goes with the phrase split term equaling 132, and the chump becoming the first split term president since Grover Cleveland. That was 132 years ago. But yeah, this is the puppet show. Big tech, the big tech industry is really Big Brother. It is really the government. It's a way that they can get around the Constitution by saying these are private entities. These are private corporations that are just happen to be very well funded with all these government grants and contracts. And the government just happens to, you know, funnel billions of dollars into these tech industries to build the surveillance state. It's so obvious that all of this stuff, Facebook, Amazon, which has the post office working on Sunday. I mean, it couldn't be any more obvious. All of it. Amazon, Facebook, Elon Musk, all of his things, SpaceX, which does everything alongside NASA. All of these things are really the federal government, and they put these little puppets there, and they pass the money through them, and they say, oh, see, no, this is a company created by that really smart guy over there. These are private enterprise. No, they're not. No, they're not. This is the federal government posing as private enterprise, and that's why right on the House of Representatives in Washington, D.C., you have the Roman fasces on the wall. The root word of fascism, which is the merger of government and corporation. But yeah, anyway, formerly Xavier, speaks out on the 79th day of the year. And the formal title of the Jesuits is the Society of Jesus. And just like Yeshua's 79. I think I hit all the main points in that one. Let's see. If you missed this yesterday, this was an emerging headline. I did the video on the education, and then after I finished, then an emerging top headline that night was, Judge says Trump administration can't deport Georgetown University fellow. And notice, Georgetown's the nation's first Jesuit university, but this story just happened to break 129 days from the Superior General's birthday when Georgetown's 129. Again, 129 is 201 in base 8 counting. The Jesuit order 201. Georgetown's motto is both into one. Both into one. 2 into 1. Twin Towers into One World Trade Center. Competing ideas crushed into one world government, governing force, which is exactly what the Catholic Church wants, to govern all things, to rule over all things. This is how this story went last night. A federal judge on Thursday ruled the Trump administration could not deport Georgetown fellow Badar Khan Suri, who the university says was detained by the Department of Homeland Security. Remember, that was created after 2 towers became 0 before they became 1. As the Trump administration continues its immigration clampdown, U.S. District Judge Patricia Tolliver Giles said that while she reviews Khan Suri's petition in court challenging his detention, the administration is not to remove him from the country unless she issues another ruling to the contrary, according to the order. Khan Suri's attorney, Hassan Ahmad, says he and his team are working diligently to secure his client's removal from a detention facility in Louisiana, where he has been since Tuesday. We welcome, that would have been the 77th day of the year, like Georgetown's on the 77th Meridian West. We welcome Judge Giles' ruling, Ahmad said in a statement to CNN. It is the first due process Dr. Khan Suri has received since he was snatched away from his family on Monday night. That would have been the 76th day of the year, Donald John Trump, 76. This country since 1776. Things that weren't supposed to happen in this country like that, having the government come snatch you away. And remember, just this whole land, everything about this country changed after 9/11. All of a sudden, if the government said you were a terrorist, you lost all your rights and liberties, you could be detained indefinitely and nobody had to be notified. And then really the first person that happened to it ended up being notified about in the media. What was his name? I forget because he changed his name. He became LGBQT trans. Oh my God, I can't remember his male name or his female name, but that was a long running story for a long time. I want to say Bradley, but you know what? I want to look up real quick. I want to look up where this judge went to school out of curiosity. Patricia Tolliver Giles. Does she have any information? All right, here is the judge. We don't have an actual birthday for her. All right, we have limited information. I was curious if she might be Jesuit educated too. It doesn't look like it unless her undergrad was or not undergrad, but her prep school was Jesuit. But I mean, isn't it just so obvious? I mean, the story about Georgetown and what's going on there, exactly 129 days from the Jesuit leader's birthday. It's just on the day that the Department of Education, Trump begins to attempt to disassemble it by the numbers. And again, in case you missed this yesterday, he did it on the 79th day of the year, like Jimmy Carter formally established it in 79. Jimmy Carter left office in 81. Trump does this 81 days after Jimmy Carter dies. And from October 17th, the anniversary of it being created by Jimmy Carter, to the disassembling was 154 days later. 201's the 154th composite number. Jimmy Carter died on 12/29, which is the 201st prime. Again, it was the 94th day of the Pope's age, Department of Education. It was the 129th day of the Superior General's age, which is 201 in base 8 counting. And it's also something I forgot to cover in the video yesterday was that if you go back in history from October 17, 1979, the day that Jimmy Carter establishes the Department of Education, to the day it actually went into effect, May 4th, 1980, was a span of 201 days. You know, and again, what Trump signed off on yesterday, they began drafting on February 4th. And notice that was 38 days after Jimmy Carter died, when education and death equal 38 days after his death. It's the death of the Department of Education. But again, probably not really, since it's going to take Congress, and Congress isn't on board. I mean, someday they might get rid of the Department of Education and return it to the states. But again, the states are at this point controlled by the same Jesuit cabal that your federal government is. You got to go in order. It really is revolt against the federal government, and then next your state government, and that'd be a lot easier for a lot of people. It's a lot easier to assemble in your state capital. For me, it's a 3.5-hour drive to the state capital. To drive to Washington, D.C. is over 40 hours. So I got to drive 40 hours to D.C. or 3.5 hours to my state capital. It's a lot easier for me to protest against my government, and not just protest, but make change happen. You know, mafia style, get out the pitchforks. It's long overdue. And again, Trump was doing this on the first day officially of the 86th March Madness, 86 in the Department of Education. Again, you look at these universities, right? They're mostly all about the sports team. Everything else is secondary. Okay. And if you missed it this morning, just the fires, the fire that blew up the transformer that shut down Heathrow for travel. It happened on the 201st day of the new prime minister's age. He has the same birthday that is the anniversary of the Great Fire of London. And hold on, Great Fire of London, Jesuits. About the Great Fire of London, this is part of history. That there was a major accusation that Jesuits set that fire. The Great Fire of London swept through the city from the 2nd to the 5th of September, 9/5. Jesuits created Count of the 95 Theses in 1666. Got 3 sixes in that year, and destroyed many buildings, including St. Paul's Cathedral. As the fire burnt, the inhabitants looked for culprits, and so foreigners and Catholics were attacked. Keep in mind, this is back in the time of the Protestant Reformation and its aftermath. During the Popish plot, Titus Oates accused the Jesuits of setting the fire. And of course, remember, Google is completely Jesuit controlled. They celebrate their birthday on the same day the Jesuits are recognized by Rome. And if you look at Google, they say they don't even know why they celebrate their birthday that day, but we know why. Current head of Google is Sundar Pichai, 201. So every accusation in history against the Jesuits, the internet will try to downplay. Oh, that's a conspiracy theory. It's like, not really. Founders of this nation were worried about what could happen to the United States of America if the Jesuits came out of suppression, since they were majorly involved in European politics and keeping people under the rule of the Catholic Church. But yeah, the Jesuits were associated with the Great Fire of London. And here we are all these years later. You got a prime minister born on that day, and now a major fire, majorly interrupting world travel in a nice little 201 ritual. So again, you can see that today's exactly 37 weeks after he took office, has the same birthday, September 2nd, 37 weeks like Heathrow's 37, born September 2nd, 1962. By the numbers. By the numbers. Oh, man. Yeah, I did a video on this earlier, so I'm not going to be too redundant there. But I did bring up how a similar thing happened at Seattle-Tacoma International Airport last year. And then just a reminder that the global tech outage was on the 201st day of the year last year. And it is those pesky Jesuits who keep simulating something called cyber polygon about cyber attacks causing major problems in the world. So I think we got through it all. And I think that was the extent of it. All right, gender and gender, wordplay, number play, ritualism, almost all of it going over everyone's head. I got about 15, 20 minutes till I need to wrap this up. If you're on the Patreon last night, we went over why it looked like Colorado State should win on the 6-date numerology. We identified last night that 6 was the big number on the 6-date numerology, plus it's the 21st of the month, 21, the 6th triangular number. You can see that right in the front of this center shot. They got number 21. Let me just do a little checkup on what's going on in March Madness real quick, how the sixes are playing. Did Memphis lose? Yep, Memphis lost. Oh, yeah, that's right. That's who Colorado State was playing. They had 2 6s against them. They got their 6th loss of the year, and Colorado State, if I'm not mistaken, got their 6th win in the tournament. Either that or their coach got his 6th win in the tournament. But, yeah, yesterday on the 5-date numerology, every 5 that could get picked up in the win-loss, whether it was the team record or team's all-time record in the tournament or the coach's all-time record in the tournament, every single game that could happen on the 5-date numerology yesterday happened. So we went through it last night, Patreon. We said, well, I bet 6 is really good today. Baylor had the 6s on their side today. Baylor gets past Mississippi State. Colorado State upsets Memphis. Lipscomb did not upset. They were a huge underdog. Had they upset, the 6 would have played against Iowa State. So it's not going to be a perfect pattern today. Would have liked to see Lipscomb upset because they were a big old payout. Alabama had reasons to beat Colonials. The name of the Robert Morris is the Colonials. I believe that equals 143, and I believe the coach at Alabama, Nate Oates, got his 143rd win with Alabama today. Yeah, that's what it was. Colonials 143. Again, you guys learn this knowledge. You'll see just how rigged the game is. Again, day after day, taking advantage of the rig sports, poking holes in the rig news. And you think what we're doing, which is unprecedented, you think it would just have a massive following. To make a point, you look at these guys on YouTube who get hundreds of thousands of views, millions of views. And by the way, I used to be one of those guys. I used to get great views a decade ago. And we should get better views. I mean, I should get a lot better views than I got years ago. We should get millions of views every video now. Should have been long earned. But the point I'm making is there's these guys on YouTube that have big channels, big platforms. They talk about sports, the market, crypto. They all have the same information, right? They're all saying the same things, which is nothing new, nothing interesting. It's like, who's watching this? Like, this is cookie cutter crap that everyone said a million times ago. There's like nothing new. There's nothing cutting edge about this. There's nothing that can really help you out for this information. Here we're doing something groundbreaking, unprecedented, undeniable. And somehow, some way, we've been squeezed down to averaging 2,000 views a video. Again, when this channel really took off, 2016, 2017, every video would have had that many views within literally minutes. Within minutes, it would have had 2,000 views. So it is just super frustrating. Super frustrating. All right. I'm going to drop the link for anybody who has anything to share. I did just drop the link. I'll drop it one more time. Again, I do got to hop off in about 10, 15 minutes. So if you want to come on and contribute, you got to make it quick. I appreciate that. Is it Lane? Am I saying it right? Sorry if I'm not saying it right, but I appreciate it. D26, you're going to have to be quick because I'm getting off here soon. Might have to save it for later. I got to be on the road. Sweet lady, I got to get her to an appointment. For everyone on the sports tier, again, we're doing a night stream tonight. We switched up the streaming schedule during the tournament, so we can do these recaps like we did yesterday. Again, we looked at it last night. We said, oh, man, 5 played hard. Looks like 6 is the number to ride on the 6th date on Friday. And so far, so good. If only Lipscomb would have come in, man, a big old payout. So far, there hasn't really been any monster upsets. I think biggest upset so far was McNeese, which wasn't that big of an upset. Well, we'll see. We'll see if they got anything coming up tonight. In recent years, there's been some monster upsets in the first round. All right. Well, we might not have anybody who wants to come on today. I did just drop the link one more time. Let me see what else is buzzing. Let's see how the BBC's covering the Heathrow fire. The Tate brothers, whose father was CIA. Have you guys seen that the new show on Netflix, Adolescence? Adolescence. Plot is a 13-year-old boy is getting made fun of by a girl at school. She said he's going to be an incel. They're learning at I can't spell the word adolescence right now. My goodness. Adolescence. All right. But yeah, popular show on Netflix right now about online bullying, and it provokes a 13-year-old boy to kill a classmate, shocks his parents, shows about just what it does to the family. But just take a look at the 13-year-old boy who kills his classmate. His name is Jamie in the show, right? Look how they pick out the names, right? This is just par for the course. for the entertainment world. Again, Kabbalah is the thing from the people at the top. They put the Kabbalah code on all of it. But Jamie is the boy. Jamie, 38 like death, 20 like death, 97 like death, 97 the 25th prime, number all over the place in 2025. One of the biggest shows so far of 2025 on Netflix. Jamie, though, 38, 34, like murder is 38 and 34, the young murderer. And then the girl that's killed, Katie Leonard, 11574 in her name, just like killing, set in London. And again, they add this show to Netflix at the same time they add the show Craven the Hunter, where when he shows up in London, he has to be next to one of those big red double-decker buses with a big 74 on the back. He's an assassin. Again, they added that show right before the Ides of March. Remember the assassination of Caesar, which was on the 74th day of the year. And then they also added Sicario, which was in the top 10 at the same time. Sicario is a word for an assassin. Sicario, 74, 38, 115, all like killing. Again, same thing. Sicario and killing, perfect overlap. If you haven't seen that movie, probably like one of the most brutal assassination scenes ever, because he takes out the whole family of the drug lord, 2 boys and the mom. He smokes them before he smokes the drug lord himself. And why did he do that? Because that same drug lord had his family killed. If you haven't seen Sicario, it's about how the CIA picks up an FBI agent to be part of their team taking down the cartel in the U.S. For them to operate domestically, they need somebody from the FBI. CIA cannot operate domestically unless they have FBI partnership. So essentially, they trick an FBI agent into joining their cause. She doesn't realize how it's going to go down. She doesn't realize that this guy the CIA is using is a former assassin for Colombian cartel who wants to take out this cartel because they killed his family. But yeah, just really brutal scene. But again, just understand why Netflix added all these films, all these stories right before the Ides of March to remember killing. Anyway, I got on this because I saw Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate is a plot point in the show. The reason this Jamie kills the girl is because the girl was teasing him with knowledge she learned through Andrew Tate about incels. You know, guys that'll never get any. And the girl's saying, you're going to be an incel. But yeah, Andrew Tate's participated in a number of 201 rituals. And let's not forget the CIA was created on the 201st day of the Pope's age, or that the words in their logo or that the words in their motto both add up to 201. But yeah, this is the stuff that's being used to control the minds of the masses. Now, hit shows being made about it, you know, elevating the status of an Andrew Tate even further. Another guy who never really said anything interesting, but the masses just fall in line behind because whatever's popular and buzzing and trending, oh, I got to be a part of it too. Herd mentality. But yeah. Adolescence. And Sweet Lady and I, we saw this show over the weekend. It is well done. It is well done. The 13-year-old boy, Jamie, great acting performance from a young child. Very believable performance. And at the same time, I would say it probably is a good show, because it probably is a conversation that a lot of families and households need to talk about. What's going on online? People have never been more depressed. This world of going home to be on your social media rather than back in the day, if you're from my generation when none of this stuff existed, after school you hung out with your friends. You went out and did things in person. You know. It's just everything, just such a double-edged sword, man. It's just, I feel bad for younger people that grew up in this digital age. I mean, there are cool things about it, but I mean, it was better before Netflix, in my opinion, where if you wanted to go watch something, you had to go out to the store. You had to make the rent at Blockbuster or Video Only or whatever these places were called, Hollywood Video, the local mom and pop chain. Again, I just remember being a young teenager, going out, picking out the movies with the friends we're going to watch. Sometimes you run into the group of the cute girls and you're like, oh man, let's make some nice plans. And the next thing, anyway, there wasn't all this talk of incels, but there was actually an opportunity to meet the cute girls in your community or run into them on a Friday night. It's just like the whole world's different, man. Everyone's living behind the computer screen, getting their heads filled with all kinds of crap. And then if you try to be somebody and actually use the technology for good and put out an important message, well, then big tech just deletes you and censors you. Says you're the dangerous one. You're putting out the misinformation. In reality, all the information I could have put out, or could have not have, the information I have put out could have helped out a lot more people and saved a lot more lives. Be a lot less myocarditis, turbo cancer, tickers just stopping out of nowhere. Be a lot less of that if people were on what we were putting out since the early days of the scandemic, long before the pokey dokes came out. Again, we were educating about what was to come Friday, March 13th, 2020, the day Trump declared the state of emergency. We're out in the cold and the rain in Seattle, Washington, in front of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, educating about Event 201 and what Bill had said back in 2010 about depopulation and how they can get it done. The guy who's from the land of the Big Needle in King County, when Corona means crown. And we told you way before the Queen died that it was going to end up hitting the royal family. And don't forget, the Queen died 201 days after her cooties diagnosis on the Virgin Mary's birthday. It couldn't have been any more Catholic. And I do remember a number of people made fun of me when she didn't die on May 20th. I did predict that she was going to die at 94 in the year she died. On May 20th, Cannonball Day. She didn't die on May 20th. Instead, she died. And the reason I said that is because it's the 140th day of the year and Queen of England's 140. But I wasn't far off. Again, she died on another very important Catholic day, September 8th, which is the day leaving 140 days left in the year. Hold on. Wait a minute. No, it's not the day leaving 140 days left in the year. Did she die 140 days after her birthday? Is that what happened? She had that April 21st birthday. It was 2022, wasn't it, that she passed? Yeah, it was, because that was the year that we met up for 9/11. Hold on. I know there was definitely something 140 about it. Yeah, she died 140 days after her birthday, the Queen of England. So, and then the same people made fun of what I said when she, they never came back and said, well, she did die at the age and in the year, and it did end up being a 140 thing, and it did end up being a very Catholic thing. See, that's the thing about haters, right? It's like just always looking for something to attack. It's like, and by doing that, you're constantly missing the point. The point of my work is she would die in connection to this Jesuit cabal running the world. And remember, she died the day that the NFL season opened. And of course, Buffalo, New York, known as the Queen City, upset the Rams that day, who were the defending Super Bowl champions. And don't forget how that all went down. Again, the Rams with the same colors as Ukraine, with the coach whose fiance was a Ukrainian. They win the Super Bowl right before the war pops off. And the Ram is the god of war. And that was the 102nd NFL season when Art of War's 102. And don't forget that war began. Look at this. March 11th, 2020, right? The day they declared the scandemic, to February 24th, 2022. It was 102 weeks in a day. And don't forget, with the scandemic, they said it was the worst scandemic in 102 years. And the last one had happened 102 years earlier, the Spanish flu coming out of World War I. And again, Art of War, the text is known about because of the Jesuit priest, Father Amiat. 102, obviously the reflection of 201. It's like how the Feds simulated Al-Qaeda 102 days before the attack happened. Anyway, True Seeker, we didn't have anybody join. I do got to hop off. We got to hit the road. And again, thank you to everyone who does hit the like and the share. Gonna have to figure out something here because I don't like feeling defeated every time I see the stats on these videos. This work was never more urgent, and the message has never been less received. So thank you again to everyone who's helping try to combat that problem by hitting the like and the share and leaving a comment. That, YouTube has figured out how to, again, 1/3 of the views this month from last month, and it's not like last month was good. So for this whole channel, ever since I had to create this channel, the views have been bad. I've never had any video ever get a good amount of views on this channel, not a single one. Here, just to make a point about this real quick, about how bad the views are on this channel and how pathetic the most viewed videos are. Right here. most popular videos on the channel. Okay, in a way, this isn't even fair because it's the video that just plays by default. So that's why it has the most views, because anytime somebody comes to the channel, it gets an automatic view. That's not good. In a way, that tells me that only 27,000 new people have ever come to the channel. That's really bad because this channel has existed for over 3 years now. The next after that is the Will Smith Chris Rock slap. Not really that important of a topic. 16,000 views. Are you kidding me? Again, 2017 average video would have had 16,000 views within an hour and a half. Shorts, I've never been able to get any shorts, and it's just mostly turned into showing off sweet little girl. We're due for a sweet little girl short. She's gotten bigger. It's amazing how fast they get so much bigger. Holy smokes. But yeah, no views there. Most popular, 6.6. Not good. Live, most popular, 29,000. The Damar Hamlin. I mean, who even cares? Not even an important topic. Not even an important video. Super Bowl 58, the assassination of the chump, which was a total hoax that I can't believe anybody fell for. Super Bowl. So the Super Bowl stuff, the 3 of the 4 top videos are all football. None of them really have very great views. And yeah, this is what I mean. The Matthew Perry thing got a little bit of attention. Also, at the end of the day, not that important of a topic. But yeah, this is just pathetic. You know, when I relaunched the channel in 2018, I got good views then too. And I mean, if you remember, that channel, the last time I got 1 million views was the 24 hours within Papa Bush dying. I got 1 million views in 24 hours of Papa Bush's death. But you would have been scrolling down like this and like scrolling down for a ways. You would have scrolled down like this far and everything had 500,000 views or more, with only one video exceeding 1 million views, the Papa Bush one. But I mean, there were like, again, and that channel didn't even last that long. That channel, I don't know, it might have lasted 18 months, but it probably had 80 videos with over 500,000 views. So what the hell happened? The work's a lot better than it was in 2018. Is that what happened? The work got too good. We're too over the targets. Now we can't get any views. Anyway, thanks again, LaDonna Franklin. I appreciate you. Got to hop off. And until next time, True Seeker.